Hello there everyone and welcome to a new review on the channel. And today we are going to be looking at an older product, but something that is still going strong and people are still marketing, still using in their shows, and even big name magicians are still showing this off. And that is none other than Boarding Pass by Mariano Goni, a very interesting, fooling, and impressive trick that plays out to any type of audience. I can't wait to talk more about it. Let's roll the intro and get straight into it. Perfect. So you decide to stick around, which means you want to learn more about Boarding Pass. So what is Boarding Pass? Boarding Pass is essentially an impossible prediction where a selected plane ticket is going to predict the selected city destination that a spectator just randomly thought of on the spot. And I think the best way for me to showcase this is to do a small performance. Now again, I don't have anyone with me. You need two phones for this, but I will just show you how it would work nonetheless. So you would introduce to your spectators, you would introduce 3 boarding passes. It can be more if you want. You can have a stack of like 10, 20, whatever you want. But for this, we're gonna use 3 boarding passes. You say you have one from Qatar Airlines, one for American Airlines, and one from Iberia. You place them on the table and you ask them to choose any one of them. Let's say for the purpose of this, they choose Iberia. So you say, perfect, that's the one you want. We'll place the other 2 to the side. Now I also want you to think of a destination, a city in the world, whatever you want. Let's say they go for Turin. Again, I'm not putting the presentation on this, I'm just showing you how it would play out. Let's say they say Turin. You then take out your phone and you say, do you know what the odds are for me to have taken the Iberia plane to Turin? Do you have any clue? They're probably gonna say no. So you say, look, first of all, you had a choice of 3 tickets, but on top of that, you also do you know how many cities are in the world? They're gonna say no. You type on your phone how many cities are in the world and you show them it's close to 10,000. So you see, not only is it a 1 in 10,000, but you add the probability of 1 in 3 as well, which makes it this almost impossible to happen. But I can prove to you that sometimes things can actually work out. Can you scan this ticket by chance? They're gonna scan this with their phone, and this one, let's say, goes to Munich. You say, okay, so that one goes to Munich. Can you scan this one? They scan this QR code, and let's say this one says Rome. So you say, perfect, so this one goes to Munich, this one goes to Rome. You did not select any of these, but you selected Iberia. Ticket and scan it, they're gonna select Iberia, they're gonna scan the QR code on the Iberia ticket, and when they scan it, the Google Maps will open, and it will show that the ticket that I used for this is going to Turin. So that's essentially the effect. You can predict on the selected ticket, the selected city that they were just thinking of every single time, okay? So now that you know what Boarding Pass is, let's talk about where you buy this, how much does it cost, and what do you get. So you can buy this pretty much anywhere. It is available, of course, from Mariano Goni himself, but it's also available at your favorite magic dealers. It will set you back around 45 USD, which is around 60-ish to 70 Canadian dollars, depending on the exchange. And what you get is this envelope. Inside of this envelope, you are going to be getting your 3 printed tickets. These are very good quality. They feel like tickets. I know some magicians actually have their own plane tickets that they use for travel in the stack with these, and these fly by. So you can use these are very good quality. You're also going to get an app for this. So there is some app thing involved here on your phone, but it works for both Android and iPhone. So don't worry about anything like that. You have the app as well. You also get a link to the instructional video, which is around an hour-ish long, and Mariano Goni goes over how to perform this solo, how to perform this with a helper, how to perform the single ticket variation, which is essentially they select one, you place the others in your pocket, and the one that they select, they just scan it once and it will be their city, or the 3 ticket variation when they get to choose one of the 3 and they get to scan the other tickets as well to see its different selections, to then the last one being their selection. That's my preferred method. I think is just better, but he does teach you both variations. And then he also teaches you how it works, how to set up the app, how to make this even more deceptive, how to tweak the settings to make it more deceptive, etc. However you want it to do to fit your style. And on top of all that, you also get a Facebook group, which for an effect like this, I do think is mandatory because there has been some times where the QR codes on some of the tickets, the Google link has expired or has stopped working. So Mariano Goni has signaled that and has given you alternatives, and eventually he's rehashed the link. So now that they all work, but it's important to have the Facebook group because you also get insights from magicians that use this all the time. Most notably, Luca Volpe uses this a lot, and Sean Farquhar uses this in his actual stage shows. And this is a mainstay for him. He's been using this, he said, for a ton of time, which is very nice to know. And also, if you are someone that watches the Joa Miranda podcast on YouTube, I heavily recommend it. It's great. This is also something that he really likes, and his best friend also, which does a demo of this in one of their most recent podcasts, also absolutely loves. So this gets a lot of praise from a lot of magicians, and you can see that a lot on the Facebook group and online as well. So you get access to all of that as well with your purchase. Now that you know all of that, let's talk now about difficulty. So how difficult is this to perform? This is relatively easy to perform. It is almost self-working. There's no sleight of hand. There's nothing like that to do. The only thing that you do for this to work is, of course, if you have a helper, you do nothing. But if you don't have a helper, by searching how many cities are in the world in front of the spectators, you are essentially queuing the information to the ticket. It's very complicated. I have no clue how this works, but you're essentially queuing the information somehow to the ticket for it to display the correct city. So the difficulty wise, it's very easy. As long as you can type on your phone, you're good to go. It's super, super easy to do. It lets you focus on your presentation, and there's a lot of ways that you can present this and justify you searching for how many cities are in the world. In my opinion, just proving the impossibility of it is a completely fine and reasonable justification for that as well. And especially since they're using their phone for something else, it makes sense that you search it on your phone since they're going to be scanning tickets in a moment anyway, okay? So difficulty-wise, it is very easy. In terms of practicality, well, in terms of carrying capacity, all you have to do is carry these tickets. Now, you can bend these tickets if you want. Just don't bend the QR codes that you need to scan. But apart from that, you can bend them, place them in your wallet, in your top pocket, and you're good to go. So as long as you have your phone and your tickets, you are good to go. An additional thing, however, for practicality in terms of carrying capacity is you will need internet for this. So you need to have internet on your phone, and your spectator will also need to have internet on their phone because they're going to be opening QR codes on Google Maps. So they're going to need internet connectivity for this. So it is important for you to note that, because if you're somewhere that doesn't have good internet connection, or your spectators don't have internet, or you don't have internet yourself, I doubt that would be the case. But you never know. If you're doing a performance in another country and they don't have Wi-Fi or internet at the certain venue, you may actually not have internet. So it'll be hard for you to perform this, almost impossible. So it is something you need to think about when essentially you are buying this effect. It is a practicality concern you need to keep in mind. Apart from that, the angles of this are very good. They're pretty much, in most cases, they can also sometimes be 360, but I'd say 270 degrees to 180 for most of this. The reset of this is instant. Once the performance finishes, you are good to go for your next performances. In terms of examinability, they can inspect the tickets. There's nothing to be seen. And they open the Google pages on Google Maps on their phone, so there's nothing to be seen on that either. So it is relatively inspectable as well. You do not also need a table for this. You can just perform it in their hands without any issue whatsoever. Now let's talk about, where do you perform this? So where do you perform this? This can be done pretty much anywhere, in my opinion, except virtual shows, because if you're doing this in a virtual show, you'll be scanning the tickets, you'll be searching everything on your phone, which doesn't make it impressive at all. But in any type of scenario, close-up, table hopping, walk around, etc., this is gonna work great. But also for stage, parlor, or bigger crowds, this will work as well. As I said, Sean Farquhar has posted in the Facebook group that he does use this in his show regularly for larger crowds, and it works well. So you can definitely find a way to either sneak this in already if you have a travel routine or a travel theme already going in a part of your show. You can easily sneak this effect as part of that and make it play for stage without any issues whatsoever. I'm sure you can work around that. So performance-wise, you can perform this pretty much anywhere where you desire it to go. Now that we've talked about all that, what are the positives and negatives of boarding pass? First, let's start out with the negatives. Well, one of the negatives of boarding pass is that you will need to have internet connectivity in order to perform this effect, both you and your spectators. So as I said, if you're performing in another country and you don't have time to get a plan, or the venue doesn't have internet and you're planning on doing this, you'll probably have to take it out of your show because you will not be able to do it. If you have helpers or whatever with you that are from that country, then you can adjust with them. But except from that, you need to keep in mind that you need both parties to have internet to perform this effect. And lastly, the other thing is that if you don't have Facebook, and I know a lot of magicians don't like the Facebook group meta or join Facebook or don't have Facebook or don't use it, so they don't have access to it. In this case, I do think it is a bit of a downside because the Facebook group is a great way to keep track of certain hiccups. Because as I said, for example, there was a 1 to 2 month period where one of the tickets, the QR code's license wasn't working, was expired, so you could not use that ticket. And if you don't have Facebook, you could not know that. You know, Mariano Goni in the group gave you the new link, so you could just print your ticket and have a new ticket with you until he fixed the issue, which is now fixed. So now all 3 tickets work. I've performed this around 3 or 4 times last week and it's worked every time. So I can say that the tickets now work. The license has been renewed. But if you're not part of the Facebook group, you cannot know these things. You cannot know that the license is maybe not working or one ticket is maybe not working as intended, or that, you know, there's a new alternative method or etc. In this type of effect, I do think it is important to have, you know, the Facebook group. So that also could be a negative if you don't have Facebook or don't like it or never want to get it. You could maybe find some hiccups and you will not know how to fix them if you don't access the group. But in terms of positives, one, it is relatively easy to do. It's a relatively unique effect. The props are very cool. They're very fun. It's also nice that you can add, as I said, people add tickets, their own tickets. So you can take this much further. You can have like 10 tickets from the different airlines, actual real tickets as well. And you just have someone say like, look, let's take here 3 random ones. Let's take this from the stack, and you give the other stack to someone. They can look at the other ones and they're going to see they're genuine tickets with dates, etc. on them. So that's fine as well. The props are great. It works super easily. It's nice that even the solo version, which is the one that I always perform since I never have helpers with me, is super easy to do. The effect is very fooling. It's a fun premise. Spectators like it. It works. You get a lot of stuff for your money, and you also get great customer service, as I said, to know if something is going wrong. There's always a quick answer going from Mariano Goni to fix the said issue. So having said all of this, would I recommend Boarding Pass, and what do I give it out of 10? I know I've owned this for a very long time and this is a very old product, but if you do not own this, I think you will still very much enjoy it and you will get a kick out of this. It's a very fun mentalism effect. It plays really well. It's easy to do. I do recommend it. I think it's great, and I do think that seeing the João Miranda recent podcast has actually reminded me of, wow, that's actually a great effect. I forgot I even got it. So I searched back for it, and now it's back in my routine of performances. It is very good. I recommend it. Out of 10, I'm giving it a 9. It's a very, very good fooling effect that you will love performing and is very fun to do. That's all I have to say about Boarding Pass. If you have any additional questions, leave them down below. If not, I'll see you all in my next review. Have a great one, and bye.